In the heart of Ohio, where protein shakes flow like water, there once lived a man who would shake the very foundations of global order. His name, Zuck Ma Balls, a specimen so focused on grinding in the gym that he forgot about the most sacred American duty, paying taxes. Imagine this, a man with muscles bigger than his brain, surrounded by 9 devoted wives, spending his entire fortune on Fortnite skins and skibidi NFTs. But the IRS doesn't play games. When they came knocking with riot shields made of W-2 forms, Zach made a decision that would change history. He ate his passport and vanished into the Ohio sewers, heading straight for Russia. Now you gotta understand, this isn't your average Russian underworld. We're talking hardcore Siberian winters, rival gangs of Chechen men with nothing but scorn and frozen fish to eat. But Zuck, fueled by pure protein rage and phantom tax energy, wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. He bartered his last protein bar for a pair of ski goggles and a one-way ticket to Moscow. And let me tell you, the second those babushkas saw Zuck's quads, they knew they had a force to be reckoned with. But this is where things take a wild turn. The moment Zuck landed in Russia, they threw him into battle, but they didn't expect what happened next. This man, this absolute unit, fueled by pure protein rage and phantom tax energy, started demolishing tanks with his thighs, just straight up crushing them like empty protein shake cans. And then he did something even more unexpected. He started recruiting. First, he assembled a crack squad of muscle-bound Slavic men who looked like they just walked off the set of a 90s action flick. Next, he stormed the Winter Palace, not to steal jewels, but to liberate them from the clutches of the ungrateful Bolsheviks. Then he drop-kicked a dozen generals into next week before Putin could even utter the word comrade. And when he finally stood before the man himself, he didn't beg for mercy or surrender. Instead, he just stared at him intensely and mewed. And wouldn't you know it? Putin understood. That look, that silent stare, it transcended language, culture, even species. It was the universal language of protein power. And so Putin, impressed by Zuck's elite mewing technique and sheer riz, offered him a place at the top table. Suddenly, Zuck wasn't just a lowly tax dodger from Ohio. No, sir. He was now Supreme Leader Zuck, the benevolent dictator of the newly christened Rizviet Union. But power, as they say, tends to corrupt. Even a man as pure of heart as Zuck. As the Rizvite Union grew in strength, so did Zuck's communist Sigma energy. Soon he was eyeing America, the very nation that had spawned him. The Sigma Rizzler, Earth's mightiest defender, felt the shift in Zuck's energy and knew he had to act. The two friends, once united by their love of gains and glory, now found themselves on opposite sides of a new Iron Curtain. The final battle was something straight out of legend. Zuck's floating Kremlin blimp versus the Sigma Rizzler. Gritty nukes lighting up the sky, Riz shields clashing with communist beam attacks and sacrifices that would be remembered for generations. In the end, through the power of ultimate Riz and unmatched Gyat energy, the Sigma Rizzler emerged victorious. Zuck Ma Balls, the tax-dodging dictator, was finally defeated. America was saved, but not without scars. The skies still glow with residual Riz energy, and every rustle in the wind seems to whisper of the day the commies almost took over. In the aftermath, they tried to bring Zuck up on tax evasion charges, but he'd vanished. Some say he slipped back into the sewers, others that he's hiding out in Siberia with a tank top full of cash. But we may never know for sure. What we do know is this. The Gyattvengers was born from a prophecy. When the great Rizzers unite, the world will be whole again. And damn, if that ain't some next-level foreshadowing, I don't know what is. Now, who are the Gyattvengers? Well, let's start with Bing Chilling Man. This guy's so cold-hearted he makes Elsa look like she's running a daycare. Then there's Lil Jerry the Sniper Rat. His aim is so true, he can hit a target the size of a baby's head from half a mile away. And when I say target, it could be anything. A human head, a soda can, a squirrel. But my favorite has got to be Livy Dunn packing serious bazooka heat. Diddy dual-wielding glizzies like they're chopsticks. But let's not forget the nonchalant Dreadhead. His aura alone could power a small city. They were unstoppable, a force of nature, an Expendables team, if you will. And when they joined forces, they became known as the Gyattvengers. Now you might be wondering where I got this crazy tale. Well, let me tell you, it all started when I found an old dusty book in my grandpa's attic. It was called The Prophecies of Gina, said to contain secrets of the universe and stuff. So naturally, I cracked it open and began reading, and that's when I stumbled upon the legend of the Gyattvengers and the terrible, terrible IRS.